I would like to acknowledge that I'm a first-generation settler here on Turtle Island. I'm joining this virtual meeting from Toronto, which is situated on the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee people. This land is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. Toronto is covered under several treaties, including the Toronto Purchase or Treaty 13 and the Dish with One Spoon Agreement. The closest community to me right now is the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. In an effort to acknowledge the historical and present day injustices and support my own reconciliation work, I commit to seeking out Indigenous people and learn from them about their culture and history, both in my personal and in my professional life. A great starting point for me has been the 94 calls to action from Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I would like to welcome the Honorable Filomena Tassi, Minister responsible for the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario, who is joining us virtually today for this exciting announcement. I would also like to welcome our team at Ontario Genomics, our partners at Velocity, the Synapse Life Sciences Consortium and McMaster Innovation Park, the Toronto Metropolitan University Science Discovery Zone, and Cleantech Commons, and all of you joining us virtually today. Before we start, just a few housekeeping items. We have muted all participants and attendees to minimize background noise and disruptions. We ask that you please keep your microphone muted throughout the program. After the formal program, there will be time for media questions. For all media, please ensure your display name includes your name and outlet. The media portion will be moderated, and we would ask that you use the raise your hand function at that time for question. And just so everybody is aware, we are recording and live streaming the announcement today on FedDev Ontario's Facebook page. Now, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Filomena Tassi, Minister responsible for the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario. Minister Tassi's role is to support projects that drive economic growth in our region and create high-quality jobs working together with communities and businesses. She's a champion and strong voice for Southern Ontario. Welcome, Minister Tassi.
Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. And thank you, Bettina, for that very kind and warm welcome and your wonderful land acknowledgement. And I'd also like to welcome everyone that's joining us today. Fantastic to see so many joining virtually. I, too, would like to begin by acknowledging that I'm joining you from Ottawa, which is on the traditional territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe peoples. And I want to thank the team at Ontario Genomics for welcoming me this morning. Your leadership on the application of genomics-based solutions continues to put Ontario on the map, which contributes to economic growth and, more importantly, quality of life. Over the course of the pandemic, we've seen the importance of engineering biology and genomics through their capacity to save lives thanks to vaccine development. I am so pleased to be joining you and your partners from across the province for this important announcement. Through genomics, real-life solutions across a number of sectors, including public health, food, and natural resources, are being discovered. It's critical that we keep the momentum of this groundbreaking work to ensure we are creating technologies to address the big challenges in these as well as other sectors. For years, Canada has been known for our innovative research capabilities in this field, much of which takes place right here in Southern Ontario. To build on this important work, the Government of Canada announced the creation of a pan-Canadian genomics strategy. While these consultations are expected to shed more light on the future of Canada's genomics landscape, we understand that there could be an innovation gap in bringing research knowledge into commercialization and adoption. with the high front-end costs and no guaranteed return on investment. And this brings me to why I'm here today. I am pleased to announce that the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario is providing over $5.6 million for Ontario Genomics to deliver the BioCreate program. This program will help early-stage SMEs in health, agri-food, and the clean tech sectors to bring new products and technologies to the market. Ontario Genomics will work with Velocity at the University of Waterloo, McMaster Innovation Park Synapse Life Sciences Consortium, Toronto Metropolitan University Science Discovery Zone, and Clean Tech Commons to provide more than 30 successful applicants with access to critical lab space, business support tools, mentoring, and patent development guidance. The companies supported will create and maintain up to 160 high-skilled jobs, develop 8 new products, services, or processes, and create 32 new patents. I am also pleased to note that about a quarter of the firms will be directed to an investment fund, Firehood, that focuses on connecting women founders with mentors, partners, and/or customers to help develop their businesses. We have all the right ingredients here in Southern Ontario: highly talented entrepreneurs and researchers, world-renowned research institutions, labs and other infrastructure capacity, and strong industry partnerships. I am so thrilled to know that this important work is taking place right here in our region, and that we are being world leaders on this. Congratulations to the team at BioCreate. I look forward to seeing the exciting new innovations that will come from this program. Thank you very much. Merci.
Thank you, Minister Tassi, for that wonderful announcement for Ontario Genomics and the BioCreate program. Thank you, and thanks to the federal government for this vital investment. This investment will have a tremendous impact on many early-stage genomics and engineering biology companies right here in Southern Ontario. This announcement is phenomenal news for my organization. Our team has been so hard at work over the last few years, capturing and articulating the momentum of what we now know to be a global biorevolution, where genomics and engineering biology enable a global technology disruption to make products sustainably, products like medicines, foods, food ingredients, bioplastics, fabrics, and so much more. At Ontario Genomics, we've been laying the groundwork for these technologies for over 20 years by funding applied research at the verge of commercialization. In 2018, realizing the momentum in this space, our team saw an opportunity to bring together Canada's leaders from the genomics and engineering biology community to join us at our very first Canada SynBio conference. In 2023, we will be celebrating our 5th anniversary of SynBio conferences, and the community is only growing. It was at the inaugural conference that we came to realize that this was more than an exciting field of research, that there were a great deal of trainees, entrepreneurs, startups, and SMEs that were keen and ready to flourish in this space. They just needed a supportive ecosystem. And we took this to heart and set out to build this ecosystem. We believe that Canada, and in particular, Ontario, has an incredible opportunity to capitalize on this, and we want to make sure that we nurture and retain innovative companies making high-demand, sustainable products in health, clean tech, and agri-food sectors. The reality is that these products will be made, and companies like this will grow. We want to make sure that they do so right here in Southern Ontario. And as the minister highlighted, we have all the necessary ingredients. We have a highly educated workforce, skilled entrepreneurs, world-renowned researchers and research institutions, laboratory and infrastructure capacity, an innovation-friendly regulatory environment, and strong industry partnerships. FedDev Ontario's investment into the BioCreate program is a critical step to making sure that all these right ingredients come together through a strategic cluster that offers end-to-end commercialization supports. BioCreate will provide direct financing to support the development of technologies and products. It will provide intensive mentorship to provide entrepreneurs with advice and networks necessary to thrive. And it will provide an investor showcase where companies will pitch to investors for an opportunity to receive follow-on investment. And excitingly, 25% of our companies will be directed toward Firehood, and you will hear much more about this. All of this would not be possible with our strategic partners across Southern Ontario. Velocity in Waterloo, the Synapse Life Sciences Consortium and McMaster Innovation Park in Hamilton, Toronto Metropolitan University Science Discovery Zone in Toronto, and the Clean Tech Commons in Peterborough. Our partners will provide companies with access to critical infrastructure like laboratory space and scale-up infrastructure so that they can develop and scale up their products right here rather than abroad. We are so excited to work together on this much needed and trailblazing initiative. Once again, we thank the federal government for recognizing this important opportunity to support Ontario's most cutting-edge entrepreneurs and startup companies. And now I'm delighted to introduce Danielle Graham, co-founder of the Firehood. The Firehood is a movement just founded in 2021, focused on increasing the participation, leadership, and prosperity of women in technology. How timely. Danielle is a venture capitalist with a purpose and has focused much of her career on fostering and funding underrepresented founders. She created Fierce Founders Program, the first women-focused accelerator and bootcamp series in Canada. And now, as general partner at Phoenix Fire, Danielle invests and advises women-led startups across Canada looking to scale their tech businesses globally. Please join me in welcoming Danielle.
Thank you so much, Minister Tassi and Bettina and Ontario Genomics for all the wonderful partnership experiences I've had with you so far. The Firehood is a national network of executive and entrepreneurial women who are investing actively in entrepreneurs across Canada. We've been very active in the last 3 months. We've invested over $900K in 3 women-led startups, including 2 clean tech startups and a cybersecurity startup. The majority of our network is also women of color, which is a very important intersectional approach to the way that we bring people into our network. We have Phoenix Fire, which is a fund fully dedicated to women, funded by women, and all of our general partners are women. This network facilitates and supports the commercialization of so many critical technologies that women are bringing to the forefront of opportunities that we can see coming forward already through Ontario Genomics. So we're very excited about this partnership and all the fruitful investments we'll make together.
Thank you so much, Danielle, and we're excited to continue to working with you in this exciting BioCreate program. And thank you once again, Minister Tassi. Thank you to our team at Ontario Genomics and our partners and all of you attending today. This brings us to the close of the formal announcement. I want to thank everyone for joining us today and invite guests to log off as I pass it over to FedDev Ontario for the media portion of today's event. I'd like to remind media to please change your name to reflect which media outlet you are here representing. Thank you all for attending. Over to you, FedDev.
Thank you, Bettina, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. It is now time for the media Q&A. We have time for one question and one follow-up. Please state your name and the media outlet that you represent. And if you could kindly use the raise hand function, we can call on you using that. Thank you very much. Any questions? Diana Martin. Can we unmute Diana? Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Diana Martin with Farmtario. Congratulations to everybody. This is incredible funding for the sector. I guess I'm wondering, quite often, some of the challenges that we have in developing any sector is the fact that there's a Hi there. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm not sure if you heard me earlier. It's Diana Martin with Farmtario. Some of the challenges for any sector development is brain drain to countries that have significant funding. What will this funding mean to retaining and perhaps attracting sector development to Canada and Ontario specifically?
So I can start with that, and then Bettina and Danielle, if you want to add. Look, our government is committed to taking the talent that we have here and actualizing that talent. These investments are so important because we have that capability right here. And so, you know, when we make these investments, it does exactly what you're saying, Diana. It keeps the talent here, it keeps the cutting edge research here, and the results of that enable us to be world leaders. So that is why these investments are so important, because it's not like we don't have that talent here. We do, and Southern Ontario in particular. So these investments are really important because we want to be ahead. We want to be leaders in this area. We know the impacts that this can have. And we want to attract others from around the world to come here because of the investments that we are making. So the federal government is happy to be a partner in that and work with organizations like Ontario Genomics that brings together that skill level and that partnership to really elevate this to the next level. And when you look at the impact of this research, I think that, you know, it speaks for itself. In the areas today that we're talking about, you know, the agri-food, the healthcare, and the clean tech, three very important areas. And I know that what will result from this is going to transform lives. But I'm happy to pass it over to Bettina and maybe Danielle to add more detail, perhaps on the concrete side of things.
Thank you very much, Minister Tassi, and thank you, Diana, for the question. And I would echo Minister Tassi's comments. This is exactly the goal of this program, is to invest in our entrepreneurs so that they stay here, to create this ecosystem, because this is what entrepreneurs are looking for, so that they can connect into networks and into colleagues to learn and accelerate. Part of this program is that entrepreneurs stay here, that they develop the IP right here in Ontario. And once, you know, an ecosystem is building, it will attract talent from around the world. And we know that this is already happening in the research world. And we have already done this with some programs at Ontario Genomics to attract talent here. The other piece is that we have a pitch and a venture pitch for these companies so that they can have access to further funding and can actually grow here. So that connectivity with Danielle and Firehood, for example, for our women entrepreneurs, that is what's going to keep them here, because there is an outlook to grow the companies even after this funding has led to the next level of success.
And I'm happy to share that all of our mentors and all of our funding goes to women entrepreneurs. All of the executives who are part of our network have succeeded and shown that success is possible here in Canada.
Okay. And if I have a moment for a follow-up, thank you. So obviously that's fantastic news about retaining our knowledge base here and entrepreneurships. And it seems to me that this industry is actually very driven by women, which is somewhat unusual in the STEM field. But will this also perhaps, and this might be a parallel kind of question, will funding like this also help encourage academia to create educational streams that encourage and develop diversity and that knowledge base in the genomics sector so that we can continue to grow and perhaps reach that sort of export level of products?
So I'll start again. Thanks, Diana. I love your questions. They're fantastic. And that's in my mind, it's exactly the goal that we are reaching here. I think success will build, like the success of this will build, and it's layered, right? So if you provide the opportunities, women, for example, diverse underrepresented populations, for example, have the opportunity to enter the field. Once that success is being showcased, which it will be showcased through this, that then it provides opportunities for organizations like universities that are intensive in research and colleges to provide certain streams. And women, for example, and underrepresented populations will see that this is possible because the investments are there. And I'm so happy because, the work that Danielle is doing, we know of the capabilities of women. We know of the capabilities of underrepresented groups. Our government wants to make investments that are actually going to level that playing field, offer supports to these groups so that they can realize their full potential. And when we do that, we are all going to benefit because we're taking that skill set that exists and we're unleashing it. And so, in direct answer to your question, I'd say this is absolutely the type of investment that will lead to that because it's a building exercise. Women will enter, they will be successful, people will see that, universities and other organizations will understand the need then from that success to do more. And so it's a partnership that we want to continue to work together because it does take partners. But when you look at the research that then it drives, the money it leverages from the community, and the success that it achieves here right in Southern Ontario, it's all a part of the whole collaborative process. And I thank you for the question. I think it's a really important one. But I'll turn it over to my colleagues to also respond to that.
Yeah, I think that's an important question. Again, I would like to emphasize that, Ontario and our universities are amongst the strongest players internationally in genomics research. And we also have very strong bioengineering capabilities, for example, at the University of Toronto. What we are creating is an ecosystem that can receive the talent that comes out of these learning streams and build their businesses right here in Ontario, and create that connectivity that young entrepreneurs are looking for. This will lead to more talent development. It will lead to evolution of these learning streams at universities. By the way, I would also like to emphasize that colleges play a big role in this and have an opportunity to participate and provide scale-up capabilities, for example. So there's very important learning that is happening in the college ecosystem, and we want to be inclusive, to all of the inputs. But critical is to develop a receptor where these graduates can find a place and develop their technologies.
I'll just add that I think one of the things I've seen that's been so successful with my programs and with my funding is the intentionality of focusing on women and underrepresented groups in the way that we approach and the way that we build the network and the community. And so it's about critical pathways to success, especially when you're talking about retention. You don't want to lose people in those stages between, academia to commercialization. So we're really trying to fill all of the gaps, and this is a critical one that we're addressing today.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions in the room? If so, raise your hand now. Going once, going twice. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us today. That concludes today's media Q&A.